everybody, Mikeycat Outdoors here. So what are we doing today? Well, this is the fourth night out. 16-man Seek Outside heated Tipi shelter. Got a Hammock Swiftlet hammock stand over here. My daughter's laying in. Want to wave to him? And just put a cheap little Grand Trunk hammock on there. I got a 50-degree Local Libre Operator Series underquilt. It's about 3/4 length, and got a little Operator Series quilt on top, and a cheap little Walmart or Kmart style sleeping bag in there. I've had for probably 30-40 years. And got a nice little wood stove right here from Four Dog Stove Company, one of their titanium ones. And I use it sometimes because I can put longer wood in it. Also have one from Seek Outside, Big Mama. It works in a large shelter like this pretty well. And tried using the diesel heater a couple times when temperatures weren't too bad outside, and just keep the heater outside, take a dryer vent, and bring the heat in, and warm up the temperature from ambient a little bit. And wasn't too bad. It's a nice adventure, just hanging out here, lounging around over various nights. Started out with one night, it was about 63, 65 degrees, wasn't too bad, so set everything up. And next day it rained and it cooled down, and it was about 37 in the morning, and slept out here. Stove went off, didn't really have all the insulation and stuff on there yet, and got a little chilly, but I managed my way around it. Adjusted the quilt over the frame, and was able to get it to come up to the body, and it worked pretty well. And third night came out here and just enjoyed a little bit of lounging around, but didn't really sleep out here. Stayed up, worked kind of late, and stayed up just a little bit longer after I got home to watch the 500 and some odd year lunar eclipse that was going on, a long one, and took a few pictures. It was alright. It was real far up in the sky, so it was hard to see it and hard to keep the camera steady. I just went inside and slept after that, and then came out here again tonight finally, and after a couple days doing a lot of stuff around with work and scouts and stuff, and had a very successful scouting for food drive this weekend. In our town we had about 8,500 bags of food that we collected, and wasn't too bad. It's out here a little bit earlier, it started sprinkling down rain pretty good, and had my Coleman white gas lantern up on the hook, and when I went inside and getting some food items came out, the lantern decided to fall down because the lantern stand that goes around the hole likes to fall sometimes. So yeah, it was still emitting gas fumes, so I was a little careful about it, with the wood stove being only about a foot away from it. Luckily it didn't catch flame or anything, but the mantles of course broke, and the globe was still good, so I didn't have any problems with the glass. But it happens. Always got to have backup gear. So I started off with just my camera light from a phone, and I just got a couple of Lucy lanterns, and got one behind me and one over there. So got a little bit of light going right now, so it's not too bad. But yeah, the tent is fairly warm. Definitely between 80s and 90s in here. Carrying that little thermometer, I think I warmed it up a little bit holding it in my hand, but it was saying 82 earlier, saying 93 right now, but I don't believe that. I think that was my hand doing that. Just boiling up a little bit of water slowly. Got some food items I'm gonna try cooking. a little bit later. I got some Naan pita bread, and in my little foil bag here, I got a chicken curry and rice freeze-dried meal that I made up July of 2020 is when I made that. So chickpeas will be about the only thing in that won't reconstitute the best. A little cheddar and broccoli soup if my daughter wakes up. And before I forget, I need to throw a couple of potatoes over here on the warming tray area and get those suckers going. Hear those sizzling. Washed them before I brought them out, and yeah, I got a little bit of kindling going in the stove, and got these little compressed wood logs in there right now. Don't have any wax in them. You'll keep hearing me stress that point. You don't want waxed logs in a wood stove. They'll clog it up, smoke you out, water your eyes, make you cough like crazy. That's why you don't do it. Been there, done that. Don't want you guys to have to go through that. So, looks like my daughter's zonked out in my hammock, so if I plan to sleep out here, I don't think I'm going to be able to sleep in the hammock because I think she's got dibs on it now. Oh well, I can always prep a cot. I'm just going to lounge around for a while and just enjoy. 10:30 at night, probably late for eating, but just going to enjoy the night a little bit and hang out and see what happens. So, yeah, be a fun ride.
Sleeping like a baby.
So I got my diesel heater inside the tent for the moment. It's really not any risk, you know, with far enough away from the stove that it is, and diesel fuel is not that combustible. It's got it, I don't know, 3 feet away from the stove, so it's fine. It's using it kind of like a table right now. Got my cheap little candle there. Looks like it's melting wax on top. So I ought to get that off of there soon. Got my Lucy lantern on my phone, giving a little light, and can't really see the battery over here. But, shine a little light on it. There we go. It's got a little car battery with a pink foam pad underneath, keep it off the ground, especially on cold freezing nights. You know, it won't freeze up or whatnot. And got some dryer vent to extend out my inlet port right there, the black one, and the air vent port that goes out, sorry. That's one of the inlets sticking up top there, and that's the exhaust down there on the wood. Potatoes, tomatoes, beans, greens, potatoes, tomatoes. Get all my swag. Got my little box with my pine cones, and my other box with my wood scraps, and got a little table I brought out here a little while ago. So I'm progressively bringing more and more junk out here. So, yeah, you can see the stand's not too bad. You just got to drape the hammock over the end though. Down here at the end, you just drape it over, and same way with the shock cord for the underquilt. And then got a little hook area there, a little loop where you can hook your carabiners and whatnot over it. And you can adjust with that little knobby whenever there's a hole there, you know, how much tension or, you know, how much slack you want to have in your hammock and lines and all that. Yeah, I think my daughter's all tuckered out. She had a long day hanging out with her friend, and I guess they went shopping. Woo, that'll wear you out. Yeah, we were walking around a little bit today. Last weekend I had to put a bunch of bags out, and this weekend pick up all the food and driving around and doubling back and canvassing a whole bunch of neighborhoods. And I'm sure people are like, what the heck are these people and what are they doing? But you get people that come out, later, a couple hours after the fact, and putting bags out, and every bit counts, especially in these days. Trying to help people as much as we can, and everyone that volunteers, everyone that donates, it's well appreciated. It's one of the nice things about the Scouts. They do that every year, and I'm doing that for 5 years at least now, and yeah, probably be doing it for another 5. It's nice and warm in this tent right now. Let's see what that thermometer says. What does that thing say? Was cooling down a little bit. 75, I think so it says. I'm reading it backwards on the screen. That was just down at the table level. Foot and a half, whatever max, off of the ground. And yeah, try to focus in here. Camera's hunting around, so that's a bad thing about this one. It likes to try to autofocus. Other one, it's pretty well just set it and forget it. Cell phone tends to focus a lot nicer, but it doesn't do as well in low lighting. This one's pretty good in low lighting conditions, but it has a problem with autofocus. So in case you're wondering, using the Canon G7X Mark II, and that's what I'm using for this right now. Normally I'll use regular Samsung phone just to do a lot of stuff real quick, and got an M50. It works alright, but it's all manual zoom and everything. That's why I was taking pictures of the moon the other night. You hear the rain's picking up again. Stove's roaring pretty good. Look at the glow on that pipe. Oh my goodness. A lot of heat coming out of there.
Hot.
It's a hot one. I'm gonna actually put these bad boys on the stove itself so they can actually cook up. I don't know how long or how well that Naan bread's gonna be until it starts burning, but I'll probably just have it on there for a short bit. See how it does. Oh yeah, that's smoking. I'm gonna put that over on the side table. That'll still be sufficiently hot over here. I don't want to scorch that stuff. Last thing I want to taste is carbon. It's like my water's boiling. I'm trying to. Gotta shrink wrap these things. I need to find myself a knife. Open that up. Take out the best part, oxygen absorber. Spilled a whole bunch of that on the ground, so the mice will be well fed. Leave no trace. So in case you're curious what my monstrosity looks like, I got more than enough water in there right now. But it's got some carrots, some garbanzos or chickpeas, whatever you want to call them. Got some rice, got some diced up chicken, got some curry seasoning in there, a few herbs, little chunks of potato, and pretty good. Tell you what, I'll let that sucker sit about 10 minutes, reconstitute itself, and I'll take some of that naan bread and eat it with it. Have a good old time. It's browning up nice. $77, not too bad. So I decided, well, I'll just throw that stuff back in my titanium pot and just let it cook up a little bit in there, warm up, and help it reconstitute a little faster, maybe thin out the water content a little bit too. Thicken it up. It's not too bad. I fold it up. Nice little Naan pita style type bread. Only problem is, if I eat all this before that's done, I'll have to go in and get another one. First world problems. So yep, it's not too bad. I got it from Aldi. Real cheap. I love Indian food. I was kind of surprised they had some in there. So, but yeah, I was kind of craving some curry and stuff. If I had my own that I made up, I thought, well, I'll go ahead and make that and try it out. And it's been a while since I've had it and the stuff that I made. And, usually get like these little frozen meals and whatnot, or little packets that you just pour stuff in. I did this one, you know, where I made it all from scratch, and it takes a while. And for freeze drying, you gotta prep it pretty well. Cut everything down into like 1/4 inch size chunks so it freeze dries real well and then reconstitutes well. But, yeah, makes for a good meal. To compare it against all the store-bought curries out there that I got, and looks good. Tastes good. A little too wet though. I put too much water in it. Kind of like curry. Chicken and rice soup, I don't know. That's about what it tastes like. A little soupy. Not bad. Tell you what, I'm making one heck of a mess out here. I'm a great cook indoors, and a great cook on the grill. You get me hot tent camping, I don't know, if there's like a grill and a fire involved, I'm alright. You get me trying to heat stuff on a stove or whatnot, I'll mess it up. I don't know why it happens, but I'm accident prone at times like this. Turn out to be some good curry soup. I originally thought I was going to have chicken ramen noodles. I think every Tom, Dick, and Harry out there on YouTube's making ramen of some sort, but oh, this ain't bad. Best of both worlds. Oh, it was hot. I'll feel that one. So what's your name? Burn my tongue, man. that to thicken up more like a stew, I'd be happy. And I'll tell you what, being on heat like that definitely helps the chickpeas. Chicken didn't take too long to reconstitute. Those chickpeas are real dense, kind of like beans, or if you have anything that's real big. You know, I tried spaghetti and meatballs one time. Meatballs didn't reconstitute very well, but I just had, you know, boiling water poured in a bag, and things were too big and it didn't work. It's trial and error. You make your own meals and see how things are. My daughter's stirring around here a little bit. All my stirring is stirring her up. You know how I talked earlier about being accident prone? I had a candle that I put up here for a little light, and it melted wax and dripped down all over the place on this heater of mine. God, that's going to be a mess to clean up. But I'm going to let it cool down, that way I can just take it off a little easier later. And there's all the victuals for the rice and the voles and whatever else wants to come in here later after I clean this all up. So one of the things I did when I staked this down, because of the rain coming, I got stakes everywhere. I got little cyclone MSR stakes that are like twirly birds there, and then in the centers I just got the regular groundhogs. And I just brought out guy lines everywhere there was a guy out point. And I got these little plastic, I forgot what they call them, but you get them in Menards or wherever. And you don't even have to tie a knot, you just wrap the thing around. It's got little slots. They stick in really well. So muddy ground, they stay in. Shangri-La. So I swapped everything back to my cup and got a bunch of burnt in rice down in my titanium pot. That'll be fun cleaning that out later. And just setting this on the ground, let it cool for a little while. So that way it won't burn my throat when I'm trying to swallow it, and a little more enjoyable experience on my palate. Well, my camera died, so using the phone again. First world problems. But yeah, my other camera battery was flashing. I think it was gonna die. Got all the spare batteries indoors, so yeah, just whipped out the phone. I'll wing it. Potatoes there, they're not doing too bad. A little scorched where they're touching the stove, but it's kind of to be expected. It'd be similar if you tried throwing them around a fire or something on hot coals. Do about the same thing. I'll give it a while. Eventually those things will cook through. So I got a lot of that wax to come off of there. Still a little bit of residue here and there, but let it cool down and stuff came off pretty well. Just popped right off the top. Got a few little areas there where, you know, it's kind of soaked in the spots, but this little guy don't get too hot, so I'm not too worried about it. things say? 46 outside. That's not too bad. Baked potatoes. They're pretty scorched. I'll tell you what, they've been on there a while, so I bet they taste pretty good inside. Moment of truth, guys. Looks pretty well done to me. Tastes pretty well done. Delicious. It's pretty good, man. Just watching some YouTube and eating my curry.
Hey everybody, welcome to this episode of the Outdoor Gear Review. This is a kayaking adventure, and Susie has come along. Oh yeah. Hi Susie. It is a beautiful day here in Tennessee. We are at Honolulu. It is gorgeous. The leaves are changing colors.
Well, I ate quite a bit of the curry there. It was almost a full cup when I started. And probably got, I don't know, 1.5 to 2 inches left in there. So I'll let it cool down a little more and eventually take it in the fridge, and I can eat that again tomorrow. Got my comfy little sleeping area set up for the night. Just brought my diesel heater back outside, set it up, kicked it on. Got my little side table and moved over there to the other side of the tent, and got my Helinox cot with the leg extensions. Got a little Thermarest Z pad sleep on, and Hammock gear 40-degree top quilt with a little bit of overfill in it, and then my Thermarest camp pillows. She's all nice and cozy asleep in her little cocoon there. So just threw the last little compressed log in there. And this guy's going pretty well. Still got a little bit of kindling wood in there if I need it for the morning. But the big stuff is pretty much all burnt up. That's the last one in there. Whew, tell you what, put that last log in there, damped it down a bit, closed down a bit of the air intake. It's definitely toasty warm in here. So I got the sweater on, and it's warm. As you can see, it's 80 in here. Woo. Yeah, so when that finally cools down, it won't be so bad. I think it's going to be like 45 at the lowest tonight. So it's not freezing cold, but it's definitely sweaty hot in here at the moment. Whew, it is toasty in here. It's 80 degrees, and and probably only going to be like 45 outside. So here's some bumps in the night, little critters stirring around, and I think maybe the neighbors stirring around a little too. Had some coyotes howling a little bit earlier when I was getting my bedding together. So yeah, it's kind of that time of night, you know, 1:30ish or so, where everything's stirring about and people are still stirring about, coming back from bars or whatnot. So a lot of activity, but usually by 3 o'clock everything's settled down pretty good. But yeah, I'm gonna borrow the catchphrase, hunker down now. So go to sleep if I can, and wake up in the morning. Shouldn't be too bad. And eventually I have to take all this beautiful stuff down before another work week begins. Morning, everybody. So it's 46 outside at the moment, and it's about 72 inside right now. Let me show you that. The thermometer's saying 72. So I got the diesel heater coming in from underneath, and hooked that up to the battery last night. Moved my table and stuff here. I'm sleeping on a Helinox cot. My 40-degree hammock gear top quilt with a little bit of overstuff, so it's probably closer to a 30-degree quilt. And my little helper vacated last night about 2 in the morning, so that's been empty. And it was after I had set up my cot, she decided to leave and go back in the house, but she said she slept pretty well for the probably 3-4 hours she was out here. She zonked out pretty quick, but I think I was making a little noise, and critters were making a little noise outside around that time, and I probably woke her up accidentally, so she just decided she wanted to be inside. I don't know. You can see the bottom of the tent. There's really no moisture or anything, except for maybe a little bit of rain drops and stuff and dew on the outside, but for the most part everything's dry. It'll make it nice. Take this down later. That's a huge tent, buddy. So Seek Outside used to make a 24-man tent by order, but they don't have that one on their website anymore. That thing would have been huge. I mean, this one's 21 foot across. I think that one was like 25 foot across. It was a biggie. But you had to have a big budget for it too. Kafaru made similar types of tents. I remember Mega Woods Walker one time had these like winter outings and whatnot, and they had guys out there. I think they had a 24-man where they were all gathered around inside, you know, hamming it up, playing music and whatnot. No, I've seen a video somewhere out there like that. I think it was his. But this is still a pretty good sized tent. You could get easily, I would think, 8 chairs or something here in a circle, and still have room to, you know, shoot, you probably could have about 12, 16 chairs in here. What am I saying? I'm just looking at it now. It's like, yeah, you could get a lot in here. You could probably have 2 rows of chairs. You could probably have a 40-man chorus in here. Nah. But it's a big tent. I'm surprised the heater is actually heating it this much compared to outside. So what, 46 to, well, now it's saying 70 on the thermometer. So what is that? 3, 4. Let me do my math here. 50 to 70 is 20, 24, about 24 degree uptick compared to outside. 25 roughly. Yeah. So for a really big structure like this, it's not bad considering a wood stove's done died out. Wood stove would probably give it a 40 degree uptick. It would probably be about 80 something in here. This to be 72, 70-ish, that's not bad. It's comfortable. So on a 45 degree night or so, 45 degree morning, you could do it. 30 degree night, what, you take this down another 15 degrees or so. So you'd be talking, what, like 55 degrees in here at that point. A little chilly, but it's still livable. At least for sleeping purposes. So that's just to give you some perspective. Let's figure out roughly what it would be like in here. But yeah, you can see this is the damper for this stove. Just a little piece of titanium that you can put in and out however far you want to put that in there. And you can also see on each section of my stovepipes, when they're not the foil roll around types, these are all actual segments. Those are stainless steel screws, self-tapping, that I put in there. So I just mate those two things together, and I just, every third area there, I just drilled in like 3 of them. Did a couple of them down at the base there where it's spot welded in, and then just did that the whole way up. So that's a 6-section pipe there, and then I had, I think, like 1 of them for the 1 or 2 up there for the spark arrestor thing that comes out the top. And then that right there is my little hook for hanging lanterns and whatnot. And usually it's alright. You put a little weight on it, it kind of, keeps it on. But for whatever reason, sometimes that thing just gets a wild hair up its butt, and it just decides to, boom, slide all the way down and fall off. And it's done that to me in other instances. But I wasn't a real happy camper when I came out and I saw that my Coleman white gas lantern was laying on the ground and it wasn't working, and I'm like, oh shit. Pardon my language there. Because yeah, it was still leaking out gas vapor. I came in, I could smell it, and it's like, uh-oh. So being that close to the wood stove there, about a foot away on the ground, I was thinking about the worst, thinking about a fire or an explosion or something. But fuel tank was alright. It wasn't hot or anything, and it was just laying down, just had the manholes broken. Looking around a little more, I guess there is a little condensation just on the bottom foot, but it ain't much. So usually you hot tent in the wintertime below freezing, that first foot or 2 going up, you're gonna have, definite condensation and frost and stuff like that, forming. Just, everything venting off the ground and whatnot. And yeah, I'm pleasantly amazed that there's not that much in here. Nice dry heat coming out of that heater. It's nice temperature in here. Rained a bit last night outside, so it's not too bad, all in all considering. So I had that going on heater setting 4 last night. It usually starts out at 3, And the fuel tank looks like it's drying up pretty well. So I don't know how much more. Not a whole lot. I think that sucker will probably die out soon. Might have to fill this up in a little bit. Be a Mikeycat Outdoors video without a kitty. You gonna go exploring in my hot tent? Of course you are. That's the adventurous one. You get a garage, a structure, anything, she will go in it. The other cat, not so much. So what do you think? Huh? You like Shangri-La? Oh, you just gotta sniff around and explore, huh? Yeah. You think you want to camp out here? Yeah? Well, that's a vote of approval if I've ever heard one. Hi. Hi, girl. Oh, yeah. This one always jumps up to get petted. Yeah. Yep, that's what I thought. E8. That's a fuel pump error code. So with that one, I think I'm going to see if I can turn that off. Will it let me? Yeah. So with the gas tank being that low, the fuel pump isn't able to get enough fuel through the hose up into the heater area. So that'll generate that E8 error code when you run out of fuel. Once you start it back up, it's going to have to pump it in a bit. You may get an initial error code, or it may, crap itself out, depending how dry the fuel line is. First time you start up a heater like this too, when you get it out of the box, you'll get a code like that because there's no fuel in it yet. But you just unplug it and then plug it back in and let it run it again. Or in my case, sometimes you can just turn it off and then just try to rerun it. But I'm not going to do that right now. Anyways, you eventually get enough fuel in there, it'll start, heating up. And so that's not anything to be too worried about. Yeah. Yeah, you always a jumper. You leaving? You enjoyed your stay here in Shangri-La? Yeah? You're probably seeing birdies out there, huh? Well, I'll see you later, Coco. You're not leaving me? Awesome. There's the little feed horse going at it right now. She found my rice and curry from last night, spilled on the ground. I was afraid there was going to be a little rat in here eating it. Well, I didn't anticipate this kind of rat. Is that good curry? Good rice? I thought so. Moo. You just keep grazing, don't you? Yeah, this one loves to eat. Other cat, he's picky as heck. He's got to have special brand of food, and it's got to be shredded, and all that good stuff, and he won't eat human food and everything else. This one, shoot, you put anything down in front of her, she just chomp, chomp, chomp. So that's the difference. Well, everybody, sounds like shotgun season out in the woods nearby. Don't know if you could hear that. A couple of shotgun blasts. So I guess I'm gonna grab some breakfast, and when it warms up a little more, if there's any sunlight, I'll have to check the forecast. I'll have to start taking all this stuff down and getting ready because I got work again tomorrow. And yeah, it's gonna be interesting. Thanksgiving week, be a short week. Don't know if we're gonna have a Thanksgiving party or not. Didn't get invited to one yet. Area I'm at right now, yeah, they put the fun in dysfunctional sometimes. But oh, we'll see what changes come in January. So, oh, we'll see. But I've had fun out here the past few days. Definitely a nice, comfortable lounging situation. You know, nice big tent like this. It's not cheap, but it gives you flexibility for large groups. It gives you flexibility to sprawl out. I mean, you could have easily, bare minimum 4 cots in this thing, and you would still have a boatload of room, you know, to move around in here, to have extra gear stored, you know, crates of gear on the sides, you know, because I mean there's plenty of space around this, and I mean you'd still have, you know, 3 feet, 4 feet away from the stove. So yeah, it's a nice tent. See, that one's, you know, at least a couple feet away from the stove, and wasn't too bad. And then it's got, you know, a couple feet at least away from the wall. Same way with any gear, you know, you represent that as like a cot, that a cot. I mean, you could probably have one back here, and you got my hammock way over here, and I got a boat ton of space, probably 5 feet over to the side of the bottom there. So that's a lot of room. And then you could probably even fit another guy over here where the heater's at. So, you know, if you really wanted to stack stuff in here, you could. Brings me back to a point that I've said before, other people say all the time. When you hot tent camp, always bring enough insulation for the coldest temperatures you think you're going to reach. Because your heater could go out, your wood stove will definitely go out. You'll have yahoos like that down the road. Sound like they need a tune-up and a muffler. But you want to make sure that, you know, you're safe, you're comfortable. You want to have enough insulation to keep you alive and comfortable when you're out. You don't want to be miserable. So if you think it's going to get down to, you know, 45, have a 30 degree or 40 degree quilt. If you think it's going to get down to, you know, 5 degrees or 10 degrees, have at least a 0 degree quilt, you know. Always have a little extra padding on that quilt and stuff too. You know, and if you're hammock camping or cot camping, you know, always make sure you got some sort of under insulation, like my Thermarest pad. That's not a whole lot, but for this temperature, it's decent. And likewise on a hammock, make sure you've got an underquilt there, and you got it cinched up against the hammock. Because if you don't have that, you're going to get cold shoulders, you're going to get a cold butt and a cold back, and all that heat is just going to get sucked right out of you. Now in a tent, probably not going to happen as fast as if you're outside in the wind somewhere. When you're outside in the elements, yeah, anything below 60 degrees, if you don't have an underquilt, you're going to feel it. So that's just a 50 degree quilt, but it works really well. And so I got the Operator Series 50 degree top quilt there, and then cheap little sleeping bag. And you know, you double up quilts too. If you don't have 2 real thick ones, you take 2 thinner ones, double them up, and you get the extra insulation effect. You can extend your range quite a bit. That door wide open, I'm losing my heat without the heater on. It's going down to about 60 in here. So it was 70, 72 when that was going. So it gives you a little bit of an idea. There's still some heat in here, but it's definitely leaking away. Well, Well, everybody, if you like what you've seen, feel free to like, comment, subscribe. I'll catch you again in the outdoors. As always, thanks for watching. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody.